The wind whispers his name across the vast savanna. Phakara, a name that echoes with power and legend. He was not just any lion, he was a king. But this king ruled alone. This is the remarkable story of Phakara, the lone monarch of the plains. The African savanna, a land of breathtaking beauty and constant danger. Lions, the apex predators, usually live in prides, hunting and raising their young together. Male lions often form powerful coalitions, brothers, cousins joining forces, but Phakara was an exception. He chose a life of solitude. He walked his path alone, faced his enemies alone, and brought down his prey alone. A single, splendid male lion standing against all the usual rules. His magnificent mane, like a dark crown, symbolized his defiance. His eyes burned with an unyielding spirit. Each sunrise painted him as a solitary figure, a silhouette against the golden light. Each sunset saw him, a lone warrior. He became a symbol of raw, untamed power and fierce independence. Tales of his bravery traveled far and wide, carried on the wind. Phakara, the name itself meant survival and incredible strength. His legend grew larger with every passing day. He was a true king, ruling alone. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. Where did this extraordinary lion, Phakara, come from? The truth is, no one knows for certain. His early life remains a well-kept secret, hidden in the mists of the ancient savanna. Perhaps he was born into a thriving pride, one of many playful cubs. Learning the essential ways of the lion, playing under the watchful eyes of the lionesses. What then could have happened? What event might have pushed him towards this solitary existence? It is possible that tragedy struck his birth pride, a violent takeover by new, aggressive rival males. In such upheavals, young male lions are often driven out, forced to fend for themselves. Perhaps Phakara was one such exile, cast out alone, destined for a different life. Or could it be that he chose this path himself, possessed by a restless, wandering spirit, a deep-seated desire for complete independence? Some observers say he was always a little different, even as a young lion, always looking towards the distant horizon, dreaming of lands unknown. Maybe the close confines of a pride felt too small for his grand ambitions. These are only speculations, of course, educated guesses. The savanna guards its ancient secrets very closely. But whatever his true origins were, Phakara emerged onto the plains, a young male brimming with strength and vitality, ready to face the challenges of the world, entirely on his own. His past, a fading shadow, his future, an unwritten, thrilling saga. Phakara, the Lone King, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power, his story, a legend that will never fade. The African savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. A lone male lion faces immense challenges. The savanna is a harsh and unforgiving teacher. He must find and catch all his food by himself, no pride to help him hunt. Every single meal is a hard-won victory. Every day is a relentless struggle for survival. Slowly, but with great determination, he carved out his own kingdom. A kingdom ruled by just one, Phakara, the solitary king. How did Phakara manage to survive for so long? His sharp intelligence was his greatest weapon. He was not just about brute strength. He possessed a keen mind. He observed his surroundings carefully and adapted his methods. This intelligence was key to his reign. He knew when to fight and when to wait. He avoided unnecessary confrontations. A lone lion cannot afford to be reckless. Even a small injury could become fatal. Phakara used the terrain to his advantage. He moved like a silent ghost, a master of stealth and camouflage. His senses were incredibly sharp. They warned him of danger and led him to food, always alert, always watching, always listening. The savanna spoke to him, and he understood. His journey was one of courage. The African savanna was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. Phakara's hard-won territory was constantly under threat from other male lions and powerful coalitions. They all desired what he possessed: his prime land, rich hunting grounds, and respected status. The life of any lion king is never truly peaceful, especially for a king who rules alone. The challenges were relentless. He faced many challengers during his reign. Sometimes he fought a single rival, sometimes two or even three males together. the odds were often stacked heavily against him. But Phakara never backed down easily. His ferocious roars of defiance echoed far across the plains, a clear warning to his enemies. He would defend his kingdom with all his might. His battles became the stuff of legend, fierce, brutal, and raw. The dust would rise in thick clouds, guttural growls thundering through the air, sharp claws would flash in the sunlight, powerful teeth biting deep. Phakara fought with unmatched ferocity, driven by a primal instinct to survive and rule. He bore many scars, each a testament to his immense courage. He did not win every fight. Sometimes he was forced into a tactical retreat to recover, but he always returned, more determined and resilient. He learned valuable lessons from his defeats, studying his enemy's tactics and planning his comeback. Phakara was a true, indomitable warrior. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. The coalitions of male lions were Phakara's greatest threat. 2 or 3 large males hunting and fighting together were formidable. Most lone lions would flee immediately, but Phakara was different. He had extraordinary courage and always a plan. A master strategist, he rarely engaged head-on. Instead, he used cunning to separate coalition members, creating confusion and disarray among them. Sometimes a strategic retreat was his best option. He would melt away into the dense bush or cross a river, letting his rivals search and grow tired. Then, he might strike back or reclaim territory. Sometimes he had to stand his ground. A tense standoff would ensue, Phakara alone, facing a coalition. His deep roars, their answering roars, a battle of wills. Even outnumbered, his presence made adversaries hesitate. Phakara was an indomitable warrior. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. Phakara was a creature of unforgettable moments that vividly defined his growing legend. One such iconic moment was the sound of his solitary roar, often heard at dawn or dusk. A deep, powerful, resonant sound, rolling like thunder across the vast, silent savanna. This incredible roar was not just a simple sound, it was a profound declaration to the world. I am here. This land is mine. I am Phakara, the king. It served as a potent challenge to all his rivals and a reassurance to himself. Another iconic image often captured was Phakara bravely confronting an entire clan of spotted hyenas. Hyenas frequently attempt to steal a lion's hard-earned kill, especially if the lion is alone. But Phakara would stand his ground resolutely, snarling fiercely, lunging bravely, determined to protect his precious, hard-earned meal. Or consider the breathtaking sight of him walking with regal majesty through the tall, golden grass. His magnificent dark mane catching the warm sunlight, a true golden king in his prime. Carefully surveying his vast domain, every movement deliberate, calm, and confident. He was the very embodiment of wild, untamed Africa, unconquerable, unbroken. These powerful images became famous across the globe, helping to tell his extraordinary story. Phakara was a true icon of the wild African wilderness. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. The African Savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. Time waits for no one, not even for a legendary king like Phakara. The years inevitably passed by and the numerous intense battles took their toll on him. His once mighty body grew weary with age, his collection of scars more numerous than ever. Younger, stronger lions began to challenge his rule more frequently. The pressure on him mounted steadily, the savanna changing around him. Yet despite these challenges, Phakara's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to fight on with the same courage and fierce determination that defined him. He might lose a battle now and then, but he never lost his inherent dignity. His powerful will to survive never faltered. He adapted his tactics, relying more on his vast experience and less on his diminishing brute strength. There were moments of quiet reflection too. Phakara, seen resting peacefully under a spreading acacia tree, gazing out thoughtfully at his beloved kingdom, perhaps remembering his many past victories. The African savanna sun slowly setting on his long and storied reign, a great king in his twilight years, still majestic, even as his physical power waned. His legendary status among humans and animals only grew stronger. He became an enduring symbol of incredible resilience and unyielding strength. He showed the world what it truly meant to be a survivor, to fight with honor until the very end. His incredible life story was nearing its final chapter, but his remarkable spirit seemed eternal. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His story, a legend that will never fade. The African savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. His journey was one of courage, his life a testament to survival. The African savanna, a land of constant danger, was his kingdom. Phakara, the lone monarch, stood as a symbol of raw, untamed power. Phakara, the lone king, is no longer with us on the savanna. He eventually succumbed, as all living things must, perhaps to old age or his many injuries. The vast savanna seemed to fall silent for a brief moment. The great king was gone. But his incredible story and powerful legacy live on, strong and clear. He became much more than just a single lion. He transformed into a powerful symbol, a symbol of immense strength, unwavering courage, and fierce independence. In a world that often favors conformity and group behavior, Phakara stood as a testament to the unique power of the individual. He demonstrated that one can be alone and yet incredibly powerful and influential. His extraordinary life provides us with valuable lessons about true resilience, adapting to change. Phakara was one such king, a lone wanderer, a solitary monarch in a world that demands coalition. He carved out his territory with sheer will, his roars a singular voice in the vast wilderness. For years, he held his ground, a testament to strength and defiance. His mane, a dark, imposing crown, framed a face that had seen countless sunrises and challenges. His life was a saga of courage, a daily battle against hunger, rivals, and loneliness. Yet Phakara endured and thrived, becoming an icon of resilience. Many followed his journey, their hearts invested in his survival and triumphs. Then, silence. The mighty roars ceased, and Phakara vanished. His end, as mysterious as his solitary reign, left questions lingering. Did he fall to younger lions, injury, or illness? The bush keeps its secrets well. Phakara's final chapter remains one of its most poignant mysteries. We search for answers, piecing together the last sightings and whispers. What really happened to Phakara? This is his story, a tribute to a king who lived and died by his own rules. Phakara's crown was hard-won. He appeared as a nomad, a powerful male without a coalition. Most male lions rely on partnerships, but Phakara chose a different path. He was a force of nature, relying on strength, cunning, and determination. His chosen domain was a challenging mosaic of riverine thickets and open plains. Here, he established his rule, his roars declarations of his solitary might. He patrolled his boundaries with relentless vigilance, facing down hyena clans and wandering males. Life as a lone male is precarious, every meal a struggle, every confrontation a risk. Phakara bore these burdens with stoic grace, becoming an expert hunter and master of survival. For several years, Phakara reigned supreme, his solitude his signature. He was a paradox, a social animal living in near-complete isolation, yet commanding respect and fear. Tourists and guides spoke of him in hushed, reverent tones. That's Phakara's area, they would say, a mixture of awe and caution in their voices. He was a legend in the making, his story unfolding with each passing season. Each successful hunt, each defiant roar echoed across his kingdom. A kingdom built not on numbers, but on the unshakable spirit of one extraordinary lion. Phakara's legacy was one of resilience and solitary strength. As the seasons turned, so did Phakara's fortunes. The land he last called home was near the confluence of two seasonal rivers, a place of stark beauty and intense competition. During the dry months, water sources dwindled, concentrating prey but also attracting rivals. Phakara, no longer in his prime, found this environment increasingly demanding. Younger, ambitious males were pushing in from the peripheries. Coalitions of 2 or 3, full of youthful vigor, were testing the boundaries. Phakara faced an ever-increasing threat. The challenges not just from other lions, but also from the changing climate and shifting prey movements. The environment itself mirrored his struggle. The grasses parched and yellow, the riverbeds mostly sand and stone. Dust devils danced across the plains, ephemeral ghosts in the shimmering heat. Even the strongest can be worn down by time and relentless adversity. He was a magnificent sight, even in his later days, but the keen eyes of experienced guides noticed the subtle changes. The pressure was immense. Lone lions, especially older ones, are prime targets. Phakara knew this. Every scent on the wind, every distant roar, was a potential threat. The last territory he held was a testament to his enduring spirit. It was also the stage for his final desperate stand against the inevitable tide of change. As the seasons turned, so did Phakara's fortunes. The land he last called home was near the confluence of two seasonal rivers, a place of stark beauty and intense competition. During the dry months, water sources dwindled, concentrating prey but also attracting rivals. Phakara, no longer in his prime, found this environment increasingly demanding. Younger, ambitious males were pushing in from the peripheries. Coalitions of 2 or 3, full of youthful vigor, were testing the boundaries. Phakara faced an ever-increasing threat. The challenges not just from other lions, but also from the changing climate and shifting prey movements. The environment itself mirrored his struggle. The grasses parched and yellow, the riverbeds mostly sand and stone. Dust devils danced across the plains, ephemeral ghosts in the shimmering heat. Even the strongest can be worn down by time and relentless adversity. He was a magnificent sight, even in his later days, but the keen eyes of experienced guides noticed the subtle changes. The pressure was immense. Lone lions, especially older ones, are prime targets. Phakara knew this. Every scent on the wind, every distant roar, was a potential threat. The last territory he held was a testament to his enduring spirit. It was also the stage for his final desperate stand against the inevitable tide of change. The signs of Phakara's decline were subtle at first. A slight limp, a little less flesh on his frame, his once immaculate mane a bit more ragged. He was still formidable, but the years of fighting and fending for himself were beginning to show. Observers noted he was spending more time resting, conserving his energy. Hunts became more challenging. A lone lion faces incredible odds when tackling large prey. An injury sustained during a hunt could be a death sentence for a solitary male. Infection was a constant threat, a silent enemy that could cripple even the mightiest. His breathing sometimes seemed more labored, hinting at possible internal injuries or illness. Starvation was a creeping danger. A failed hunt meant another day of gnawing hunger. The constant stress of defending his territory against younger, fitter rivals wore him down. His magnificent roars became less frequent, a poignant change. The voice of the king was fading. Those who had followed his life felt a sense of foreboding. An aging king, showing signs of weakness, invites challenge. Phakara, the epitome of strength, was facing his own mortality. Theories about Phakara's fate began to circulate even before his final disappearance. The most prevalent theory involved violent confrontations with rival males. Several powerful coalitions had been sighted encroaching on his territory. For a lone lion, facing a united front of younger, stronger males is an almost impossible battle. Rangers and guides reported signs of conflict in areas Phakara frequented. Scuffed earth, broken branches, tufts of lion fur, the silent aftermath of a desperate struggle. While no one directly witnessed a fatal encounter, the evidence pointed towards intense battles. Lions fight with terrifying ferocity, using their immense power, sharp claws, and bone-crushing jaws. A deep bite, a broken bone, internal injuries, any of these could have incapacitated Phakara. Some speculated that a particularly notorious coalition might have been responsible. These males were in their prime, a formidable force. If they had cornered Phakara, the outcome would have been grimly predictable. He would have fought with all the courage and fury that had defined his life. but courage alone is often not enough against superior numbers and youthful strength. The consensus leaned heavily towards a fatal clash with rivals. The last confirmed sightings of Phakara were tinged with unease. He was seen moving slowly, perhaps with a noticeable limp, keeping to the denser thickets. Then, he was simply gone. Days turned into weeks. The areas he once patrolled lay empty. His distinctive tracks were no longer found, and the silence was the most telling sign. Phakara's roar, legendary and sonorous, was no more. Rangers noted the missing call, an unsettling void. Extensive searches were conducted, but Phakara had vanished as if into thin air. There was no carcass found, which is not unusual in the wild. Scavengers are efficient, and dense vegetation can easily conceal a fallen king. This lack of closure added to the legend, to the mystique surrounding his end. His disappearance became a poignant symbol of the wild's untamed nature. Even a lion as well known as Phakara could simply melt back into the landscape. It was a stark reminder that despite our efforts to understand these creatures, they ultimately belong to a world that operates by its own ancient rules. Phakara, the lone king, had made his final, silent exit from the stage. The news of Phakara's disappearance sent ripples of sadness through the global community of wildlife enthusiasts. He wasn't just another lion, he was Phakara. His story of solitary survival resonated deeply with many. Social media platforms filled with tributes, people shared their favorite photographs and memories. Rangers and guides who had tracked him for years felt his loss most keenly. For them, Phakara was a familiar presence, a living legend. "The bush feels emptier without him," one seasoned ranger remarked. They spoke of his intelligence, resilience, and sheer presence. He was more than a subject of their work, he was a wild soul they had come to respect and admire. Many recalled specific encounters, moments when he walked past their vehicle or his roar pierced the night air. These memories became precious, keeping his spirit alive. Tributes poured in not just as words, but as a renewed commitment to support lion conservation. Phakara's story highlighted the challenges these magnificent animals face. His life served as a powerful reminder of the fragility of even the strongest. Phakara, the lone king, had left an indelible mark on the hearts of many. What was it about Phakara that captured so many hearts and imaginations? It was his extraordinary lone lifestyle, a testament to individual strength. He was an anomaly, a lion who carved out and held a territory single-handedly. This defiance of the norm was captivating, making him a symbol of fierce independence. His survival skills were legendary, requiring exceptional intelligence, cunning, and physical prowess. Phakara was not just brawn, he was a strategist. He knew his territory intimately, its every hiding place and vantage point. He understood the movements of prey and the habits of his rivals. Furthermore, there was an undeniable charisma about him. His magnificent dark mane, intense gaze, and regal bearing made him look every bit the king he was. Even in photographs, his powerful presence was palpable. He carried himself with an air of quiet confidence, a stoicism that hinted at the immense challenges he faced. Phakara's story challenged our understanding of lions' social dynamics. He reminded us that nature is full of surprises, of individuals who break the mold. He was special because he embodied the raw, untamed spirit of the wild. Phakara may be gone, his roars silenced, but his legend endures. It lives on in the memories of those who saw him, in photographs, and in stories told around campfires. He has become more than just a lion. He is a symbol of courage and defiance. His story is a powerful reminder of the individual lives that make up the grand tapestry of nature. For wildlife enthusiasts, he represents the ultimate wild encounter. For conservationists, his story underscores the precarious existence of apex predators. For those who admire strength and resilience, Phakara is an icon of solitary power. We may never know the exact circumstances of his final days. The bush holds its secrets close, adding to his mystique. What we do know is that he lived a life of incredible intensity. He faced every challenge head-on, a true warrior until the very end. So, we bid farewell to Phakara, the lone king. His reign may be over, but his story will inspire awe and respect for generations to come. He was a magnificent creature, a testament to the raw beauty and brutal realities of the natural world. Phakara, the fighter, the solitary monarch, the unforgettable lion. His legend is now etched forever in the annals of the African wilderness.